wish I was a flamingo so I could do flamingo things. I wish I was a flamingo so if I could flamingo sing. I wish I was a flamingo so I could fly with my little flamingo wings. I wish I was a flamingo so I could do flamingo things. I say flamingo, you say flamingo. I say flamingo, yes, you say please stop. I say flamingo, you say I'm calling the cops. I call you a flamingo ho, you check me into rehab. I think everyone's a flamingo. You see positive results. I stopped thinking of flamingos. You check me out of rehab. I start living my best full life. You start believing in me again. I get a full-time job. You take me to the zoo, I get really excited. You take me past the giraffes. I see flamingos again, and I relapse. I wish I was a flamingo so I could do flamingo. Oh, 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 oh. Things. Wow, yeah, that was really good. Really awesome stuff that you did. I'm sure you made that by yourself just a little bit ago. Everybody really needs a good flamingo song in their life. Trust me, it was really good. Can we get this guy out of here, please? No? Okay. Oh, we're live? I was late. Almost too late? Yeah, no, I know that's the name of the show. I named it. Do Jon Snow? I wouldn't, but that's not... Oh, do the show! Do the show. Okay, yeah, that makes way more sense. Okay, got it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for living in a time where you chose to look at my face, say some words. This is the Almost Too Late Show, and I'm your host, Kyle Archer. Let's get into it. Bowling balls are getting an upgrade after Dr. Ball, creator of the bowling ball, has decided to supersize the bowling ball, allowing for easier ways to knock down all of the pins at once. Due to this, bowling enthusiasts are now on strike. Here's a true story. Semi-trucks have gone rogue and cut their 18-wheelers in half to run as 9-wheelers instead, changing their name to semi-trucks. The United States government is edging closer to a shutdown after Democrats in the Senate vowed to block the Republican funding bill. If this happens, you may want to visit a national park soon because they might be turned into Walmarts. Some government officials argued that the shutdown could improve the economy because there's nothing more American than America closing the government and making more Walmarts. TSA agent at Newark Liberty International Airport stopped a Pennsylvania man after they found a live turtle hidden in his pants. Officials became suspicious when they noticed a slow-moving lump in his groin, something that frantically could describe most men in Pennsylvania. The men claimed that they were trying to bring a surprisingly robust 5-inch red-eared slider on board with him, but TSA reminded him that there are no reptiles allowed in the cockpit. Authorities say the turtle is safe and unharmed, and TSA now has pre-flight screenings that are demanded in saying, "Is that a turtle? You're just happy to see me." With that being said, thank you for tuning in, and that was the monologue. Stick around, we'll be right after this super short break. Don't go anywhere unless you're grabbing popcorn because everybody needs some popcorn. We'll be right back. We have some fantastic guests in the building. Sitting as the live studio audience. Can we get a clap from them all? That's them right there. We'll be right back with some fantastic people. See you soon. Welcome back. We are back with the show. We got our first guest coming up, an affectionate title, Professor Poppins. We're going to find out how that name came to play. Positive and passion, host of Armstrong TV's The Butler Buzz. In the Pittsburgh Business Times article, 20 people to know in higher education, the wonderful and fabulous human being. Let's make some noise for Tricia Pritchard.
Kyle.
Hello.
I love your duck collection.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
It's
a full duck collection.
Yeah, do you mind if I have this one? I have a thing for polka dots.
Yes. Please.
Great.
Yeah. Here, well, here's your seat, your beautiful,
Thank you,
wonderful
thank
seat.
you.
All here for you. You're gonna have the polka dot cow there. Did you happen to give the cow a name at all? I'm putting you on the spot here.
You know what? I just might actually have to call this cow or duck Kyle.
Oh, I love it whenever people boost my esteem way more than it already is. Let's get right into it. Well, first off, I always like to thank everybody for coming out and taking the drive, because it was a little bit of a drive. You coming in to do this interview.
I got to tell you, sorry
Yes,
about that.
no.
I'm not very good at driving in Pittsburgh City traffic. I haven't done that in years.
How'd it go for you? Because
I'm here, Kyle.
That's good. You're right. No, that's good. That's good. I've turned into an aggressive Pittsburgh driver, and I really hate to admit it, but been here for 7-8 years now. I think it's what happens to people.
I'm sure.
Let's get right into it. So you have been in the public speaking era. You've got your master's and bachelor's in communication studies. So you've just been grown as a person of passion and talking. How did you kind of nail and land that title of Professor Poppins?
You know what? That's a great question.
Yes.
And if it's okay, I could tell you that years ago, when I was thinking about going to college, I actually thought about being a theater major at Point Park University.
Get out of town.
No, but
I
decided to study communications at Duquesne, and I'm so blessed that I made that decision. But yeah, I've been in higher education for a long time, about 30 years, and I really think and believe that being positive, being enthusiastic about what you teach, really is impactful for students. So the one day I was in class and I was greeting everybody and I was saying like, "Good morning," and I had a student. Her name's Nina. She looked at me and she said, "You're Professor Poppins," and I thought that is so funny because throughout my life, so many times people have said, "You remind me a little bit of Mary Poppins," so it just made sense.
And it just clicked from there, and
Yeah.
you kind of own the title from there. Do you go into the classroom on the first day? Do you just kind of grab the marker, not say anything, and write Professor Poppins on the board? Has it gotten there yet?
No, I don't do that.
Okay.
But people, I've used the hashtag a lot, so
Yeah.
that's kind of caught on. And
A good hashtag, Professor Poppins.
Professor Poppins.
I love a good hashtag. I think they are slowly dying to put a word to it, but I disagree, and I think that they need to stick around forever. Hashtag save the hashtag.
Well, see, now you just taught me something. I'm going to have to look into that.
So talk to me about the BC3 personal empowerment training. I
Okay.
think it's a good segue as kind of like turning, being positive and open, especially in front of students. How does this kind of fit the role into your life and trajectory?
Yeah, so I have been teaching communication classes at BC3 for 17 years. And the past 3 years, I've been building a personal empowerment training program, which is rooted in emotional intelligence. And are you familiar with emotional intelligence?
I am familiar with emotions and intelligence, just not together.
Not together.
I haven't
Super
ate that
important.
sandwich.
You should study it.
Okay.
All right. But, it's really helping people to understand how their own emotions, how they feel about themselves, impacts how they communicate and engage with other people.
Oh.
And when you become self-aware of your self-esteem, self-confidence, then you can work on building that up. And then that definitely improves the way you engage and interact with other people. So often when you study emotional intelligence, I actually saw something today that reported like individuals that are high in emotional intelligence are over 90% more successful in their jobs in the workplace. How that translates to driving teams, being a better listener, a better communicator, problem solver. It's a pretty awesome program. So what's really wonderful is that we started this program and still with the intention of helping people in the recovery community. So I believe that we're all recovering from something, whether it's mental health, trauma, addiction, and we offer a lot of these programs to individuals in the recovery community, and then in turn can kind of empower them to improve their lives.
That's really so. Is this program open to more or less students, or just kind of anybody and everybody that really wants to filter themselves through this and kind of like make a better world for them?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So for the past 3 years, we've had about 250 people go through the program. I've had everybody from high school students all the way through individuals that are retired. So, for example, I had a gentleman that's retired. His wife had a massive stroke, and he was transitioning from, working to being a full-time caregiver.
Yeah.
And he was feeling kind of down.
I could imagine the struggles that anybody in that position would go through too. So
right. So I happened to kind of know his story a little bit, and
Yeah.
I encouraged him to take the personal empowerment training to kind of give him an opportunity to take some time for himself. And he did, and he loved it.
I love that. I'm going to put you on the spot here if I can.
That's okay.
If you can't do it, I totally understand because we didn't talk about this before. But it just came to me. Are these lessons that you provide, are they more lecture-based or are they kind of activity-based?
So, we talk about a concept.
Okay.
All right. And then if the cohort or group of participants is willing to kind of share how they think that concept would apply to their own life, given their own circumstances, and then we give them skills and techniques to kind of like, now we want you to practice this, like this week, and then report back to us. How is that working?
Interesting.
So, for example, a concept that we talk about that seems to really hit home with a lot of people is the idea of the theater of life, which we talk about how individuals influence us, and it's like we want you to be responsible for your theater and where people are within your theater. So, for example, often we have people that are in our front row. They're really influencing us more than say they should. And maybe we need to put them somewhere else in our theater, like in the balcony.
That's an interesting perspective on that. It's like a broader scope of the inner outer circle.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get back to the thing I'm gonna put you on the spot for here.
Sure.
Because we have about 2 or 3 minutes left here.
Okay.
And before we begin, I'm gonna grab my emotional support duck here to go next to your emotional support duck, Kyle. This is Sally. Just got Sally a little bit ago. I'm gonna hold this here because my question for you is: do you think that there is a 2-minute crash course that you could do on me in this very moment?
Oh my gosh.
It's okay if you can't, though. Oh, there is?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm thinking.
Okay.
It's impromptu, Kyle.
This is impromptu. I told you. It was
All
on the
right.
spot.
So I want you to tell me
Okay.
how that duck
Okay.
helps you when you're feeling stressed. Because stress is an emotion,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We can feel anxious. It causes a lot of things happening in our bodies, in our mind.
I would say this duck it would provide me comfort, a place to kind of just fall back to. Because without it, what am I holding on to?
Right.
Nothing. Here, like, kind of that might be a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it.
So something that I've often shared with my students and that we've also shared within the personal empowerment training
Yes.
is that I go back and I say to students, like, who's in your life? Like that
Yeah.
duck is in your life.
This duck is in my life. Sally is.
Right? And I hope that duck, just like other people in your life, are helping you to be the best version of yourselves. Because if they are, they're supposed to be there.
I love this. And my last question for you is really, so you are all over the place, really all over the Butler County. I don't really know how to phrase this. How have you found yourself in the position that you are, being just a motivational person? And how do you want your message to kind of continue on over the next few years as you continue to do this?
You know what? I think all of my life experiences that have led me to be, teaching, leading an empowerment program, hosting a television show, doing a lot of public speaking, I look back on things that have happened in my past, and it just all has kind of like become, has shaped the person, and the opportunities that I have now, like, all make sense.
Yeah.
So I always tell everybody, another self-care strategy is enjoy what you do. Because if you enjoy what you do and you think it's fun, it's going to lead to a lot of wonderful opportunities. And please, along the way, help other people, because that's important.
That's a beautiful message. Thank you so much for taking the time again to come onto the show. It was a wonderful conversation with you.
Kyle, you're a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, you're a lot of fun too. It's wonderful getting to know you just over the past few days, few weeks. We're connected on LinkedIn, so
absolutely.
We're locked and linked.
We're locked and linked,
and
we're going to stay connected.
Absolutely.
And we're going to continue to help each other.
We are absolutely going to continue to help each other, just like Sally and Kyle are going to help each other as well.
Absolutely.
Thanks again, Tricia.
Sure.
Wonderful having you on. We will be right back with one more, so stay tuned. welcome back to our final interview of the show. Thanks for sticking around. Up next, we have a wonderful personality going up through the reins in the communication world, recently landing a job as the Pittsburgh Riveters on-field MC. Can't wait for this one. Please help me welcome out the wonderful Katie Greissinger. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Look at this duck she brought out.
I did. Well, it's your duck.
It is my duck, but
now, so.
it's the world's duck now.
Her name is Sally. Her name is not Sally. The other duck was Sally. This is
This
Patty.
duck's name is Sally.
This is Patty.
Did you not watch the first
No,
first
I
one?
did. You
Yeah.
know, I tried it out and it didn't stick.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
okay.
Patty for St. Patrick's Day.
Get your
coming up.
ducks in a row. Patty, that's great, though. Thank you so much for coming onto the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're just going to go right into it. You are now the official on-field Pittsburgh Riveters MC. This is the first time we're bringing women's sports into the city. What does this just mean for you in general?
Well, first of all, this is the first time I've said out loud I'm the official on-field MC.
Mark that down.
And the first time someone else has called me that, so very, very
Ooh.
exciting. But I'm so excited to get to represent the team on game day, and I'm just so excited that women's sports is coming to Pittsburgh. I think it's a really great thing. I know a couple teams in the area. I'm from Erie. I know they have a new team coming, and they're playing teams from Buffalo, Cleveland, Erie, Pittsburgh. So I think there's a good mix. But I'm really hoping this sticks, not just in Pittsburgh, but just in the community in general, because I think it can be a really good thing. And I'm just excited. You know, I think part of what makes the River Hounds so fun is just it's really a family experience, and there's players for young kids to look up to, and I think now we have those women role models, and so I'm so excited. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I think it's gonna be a really good time. You're gonna crush it. You're gonna do such a great job. You've had a lot of kind of experience kind of leading up to this. You did pageantries. There were a couple other things too. How was the pageantry? Pageantry, is that the right way to say it? Pageantry. Pageant. Got it.
I mean, close.
Yeah.
You're close.
We all say words.
Yeah, I mean, I started competing in pageants actually when I started undergrad, and it was just one of those things where I got a random flyer in the mail saying, like, do you want to do this? And I was like, okay, why not? And I learned a lot through that. It's a lot of fun, definitely a lot of interviews and hosting work, but I think more importantly, I really learned what it means to give back to a community and what it means to be a role model for others. So a lot of the events we're doing are for not just young women, but young children, and kind of helping the youth and showing them, like, hey, this is, what your trajectory could look like. And I think that's why I was so excited that the Riveters are coming here, because I just feel like that's in line with that. And so I'm just so excited. I think it's going to be a fun season.
It's going to be a great season.
I'm so excited.
So this is Pittsburgh Riverhound Kyle MC talking, not host of Almost Too Late show Kyle talking.
And there are two different personalities.
There's a lot of different Kyles out there.
There was another Kyle earlier today. I don't know if you got a chance to. I saw you came in late during his performance.
Almost Too Late.
Flamingo Kyle, yeah. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. I didn't really get to the chance to sit down and talk to him.
Maybe after the show.
Actually, I did try to kick him out, but that's a whole different story. He might still be here after. I kind of hope he's not. He's a little strange. But speaking as the on-field Riverhounds MC, Kyle, I had no knowledge of soccer or anything like that going into that role in any way, shape, or form. And you do, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
It's been many years since I've played.
Sure.
Definitely not in shape, and that's why I'm the MC and not a player.
Same.
We're still a big soccer family. But growing up, my dad was always my coach. I played probably up until high school, but my brother still has season tickets, so he always comes to Pittsburgh and we'll go to the Riverhounds game. So I am a fan. I do know of MC Kyle, Riverhounds MC Kyle's work.
It's not me, it's different me.
But he was just saying he watched the game this weekend. It was on ESPN, sometimes on CBS. And I just think it's great that we do have soccer in Pittsburgh, because I think a lot of times when you think of Pittsburgh, you think of it as like a sports-driven city. And our fans are really passionate, but I know we have the Pens, we have the Pirates, we have the Steelers, but I think the Riverhounds, I wouldn't say they're often overlooked, but if you're not a soccer fan, you're probably not familiar with them. And I am a soccer fan. So.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think I'm also really excited selfishly for the Riveters.
Yeah.
Is I like soccer and I like women's sports.
So it's a perfect world for you,
It is a
obviously.
perfect world.
First off, but so you said that your family and your brother had the season tickets, so they would go to Riverhound games often. So you would end up going to these games as well,
Yes, I
right?
would,
Yeah, all
yes.
the time. So I'm assuming you told your parents and your brother about
I
the
did.
gig.
I did tell them.
How was that conversation?
They're so excited.
Yeah.
My mom's going, well, now we have to get more season tickets. And I'm like,
Your brother's like, I gotta spend
I
more
hope
money now.
so. I hope you're going to come see me and support, women's soccer. But yeah, I mean, they're so excited. But I think whether or not I did this, I think they would have made the effort to go to a lot of the games. And like I said, I'm from Erie, actually. And they also have a women's team coming there, too. And so I already am excited to go back for the Rivet. Obviously, I'm cheering for the Riveters.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just definitely excited that I think the scene is growing. And I think they would have come support anyways, even if I wasn't the MC. Obviously, I think they're going to be fans of Erie, but I'm sure when they come here.
They're gonna have the Riveter
fans.
love going
They have
off too.
to.
Yeah,
They
they'll get one of
better.
those split jerseys.
Yeah,
That would actually be really cool.
maybe.
Yeah, well, it might be up there. So whenever you're emceeing, kind of doing the thing, what's your personal favorite part to do? Do you like kind of like the hype part, the throwing the t-shirts, or do you like kind of the sit-down interview thing?
Yeah, I think when I tend to think of hosting, I think of interviewing. But I actually used to be a dancer for the Erie Bayhawks. I know we talked about that a little bit before.
You don't know,
but
now you do.
You don't know, now you guys all know. I used to be a professional dancer for the Erie Bayhawks. They were in the G League. Unfortunately, after COVID, the contract wasn't renewed, so they're no longer a thing. But and so I was a part of that, hyping up the crowd. I was a part of t-shirt tosses. I was a part of activations, and I really love that. And part of, I think, what kind of fits in with the Riveters and being an MC, and we talk about women's sports coming to Pittsburgh, is that, the dance team, we didn't have a professional women's basketball team. And so a lot of these young kids, and especially young girls, would come up to the dance team members, and they were so excited, and they're like, oh, I want to do that one day, or I'm so excited to be here. And, I'm hoping that's what the Riveters can be now, at least in the soccer scene, but I think just in female sports in general. I mean, you don't have to be a soccer player to look up to a soccer athlete. And so I think a little bit of both. I do like the hype moments, but I'm excited that, I'm not just performing. I actually get to be a little bit more involved this time around.
Yeah. There's a lot of fan engagement that goes in there too. I'm just alone in my first season. I really never, like I said, I really didn't know the game of soccer. And if you are playing the world's biggest fan of that team, you got to know the game.
Oh, yeah.
And I could not tell you how many times I fell into a conversation in the first few weeks of the Riverhound season where they're just like cussing out some player on the field. And I'm like, you probably shouldn't have done that, Sue. I agree with everything that you say. It happened way too much. Now I'm starting to finally pick up on it.
Yeah,
But,
no, I am excited that I do have a little bit, at least, of a soccer background going into this. I started actually doing a lot of on-air casting for esports, and I'm not a huge video game player myself. And that was tough because I was put in the same position because people would talk about things, and now I feel like I understand the games enough. But I think this will be a little bit easier for me because it's more in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know if we told you this, but I'm going to break the news to you right now. We're going to throw a couple reads to you during the Riverhounds game too.
Okay.
Yeah. So get ready for those.
I can do reads.
Yeah.
I can do reads.
Oh, reads are simple.
I can do reads because I don't have to write them.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Yeah, that's why I have people here to write all my stuff.
Perfect.
I have everything that I have said.
Are you guys coming to the Riveters? Because I need people to write my stuff too. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. I love throwing them on the spot, and they're like, please don't talk to me.
Please don't do that again.
It's my favorite thing to do in the world. No, this is fantastic. I'm just super stoked for the season, super happy about the new opportunities that are kind of coming up and rising.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great time, and we're really excited to have you part of the Riverhounds and Riveters
Yes, I'm so excited.
Highmark team. Well, thank you so much again for coming on.
Thank you.
No, this is just what we're here for,
MC Kyle. I should have been interviewing you. You already know everything.
We could have done the flip-flop.
We
but
should have.
Yeah, if you were to ask me one question right now, what is it? On the spot.
On the spot right
Go.
now, how excited are you for the Riveter season?
100. And that is our segment here. Thank you again. One more
Thank
time.
you.
Make sure you come out to some Riverhound games. Make sure you especially come out to some Riveter games this summer for the first inaugural season. It's going to be a blast. You'll see both of us there doing our thing in action. With that being said, thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is that. We'll be right back after this. And that is the show, everybody. Thank you so much again for tuning in. A couple special shout outs. Point Park University, Point Park Production House, my two guests here, Tricia and Katie. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you all again for watching. This is the Almost Too Late Show. I'm your host, Kyle Archer, and have a great night.